Welcome to our webinar on supporting libraries through EU funds. In this session, we will explore various funding opportunities available through the European Union that can help libraries thrive and serve their communities. EU funds provide valuable support for a wide range of initiatives and projects, enabling libraries to enhance their services, promote cultural diversity, and foster innovation. To begin, let's delve into EU funds in general. The European Union allocates substantial resources to support initiatives across different sectors, including education, culture, and social inclusion. These funds aim to strengthen cooperation, promote European values, and drive positive change. By tapping into EU funds, libraries can access financial support to implement projects and initiatives that address local needs and contribute to EU-wide objectives. One significant program worth exploring is Erasmus+. Although primarily associated with education and mobility, Erasmus+ also offers opportunities for libraries. For example, libraries can participate in partnerships and projects that promote literacy, digital skills, and lifelong learning. Through Erasmus+, libraries can collaborate with other institutions, exchange best practices, and implement innovative approaches to engage diverse audiences. Another valuable funding avenue is the Creative Europe program. A Creative Europe program focuses on the cultural and creative sectors, including libraries. This program supports initiatives that safeguard and promote European cultural diversity, enhance competitiveness, and foster the circulation of cultural works. Libraries can take advantage of sector-specific calls to promote reading, enhance literary circulation, and implement media literacy activities. The program encourages cross-border collaboration and provides a platform for libraries to engage in EU-wide partnership and projects. Additionally, we will explore the SERVE program, meaning Citizens, Equality, Rights and Values. SERVE aims to protect and promote fundamental rights and values enshrined in EU treaties. Libraries can participate in projects focused on promoting rights and values, equality and non-discrimination, civic engagement and participation. Through SERVE, libraries can contribute to combating all forms of discrimination, supporting victims of violence, promoting gender equality, rights of children, civic engagement, and remembrance of important events that influence the development of EU integration and its societies. Lastly, we will introduce EU cohesion policy that serves as a significant framework with the objectives of minimizing regional disparities, fostering economic development, and strengthening social cohesion throughout the European Union. Let's start with Erasmus+ and Maja Drobne. Erasmus Plus is a program that offers individuals and organizations opportunities to study, work, volunteer, teach, and train abroad, fostering mutual understanding and cooperation across Europe and beyond. The program aims to boost skills, employability, and modernize education, training, and youth work while promoting innovation, equity, and inclusion. Erasmus Plus has three main actions. Key action number 1, learning mobility of individuals. Key action number 2, cooperation for innovation and exchange of good practices. Key action number 3, support for policy reform. They can provide librarians with valuable opportunities for professional development, networking, and collaboration, ultimately benefiting their communities and supporting the goals of a stronger and more interconnected Europe. To imagine what an Erasmus Plus project can bring to libraries, there are more successful examples. One of them is a project Enhance Public Library Services for Visually Impaired Users through ECT tools, and training was initiated to address the specific need of public libraries and effectively serving visually impaired users. Recognizing the potential of new technologies in enhancing accessibility, the project aimed to equip library staff with knowledge and skills to utilize ECT tools and services for visually impaired readers. The objectives were promoting the exchange of best practices among library staff, developing their digital competencies through training activities, and establishing a network of libraries for cooperation in serving visually impaired users. By focusing on these objectives, the project enables specialized and innovative services to visually impaired individuals in a broader network. Maja Drobne is the head of Education and Association for Culture and Education, PiNA. She is an experienced trainer and collaborates with international organizations on project management, communication participation, and strategic approaches. Maja's work focuses on discovering and nurturing the potential in individuals and groups, utilizing approaches such as art of hosting, nonviolent communication, and explorative learning. She actively engages participants in the learning processes and believes in the power of inclusive and participatory education. Additionally, Maja is involved in curriculum development and student-centered projects in partnership with the University of Ljubljana. Welcome, Maja.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start with the first questions about the Erasmus Plus program. What is it and what does it support?
Yeah, so Erasmus Plus program is one of the most successful program in the history of European Union and has actually really connected like a variety of different stakeholders from higher education, schools, but also like youth work and a lot of community practices with different projects.
So how can Erasmus Plus be utilized to enhance library programs to build capacities?
Actually, libraries have a lot of opportunities also in the framework of the Erasmus Plus program, as well as in the Key Action 1, so mobility of individuals, and also in Key Action 2, so when we are talking about collaborative practices, good practice examples, actually exchanging all of these practices around Europe through the different libraries, and also helping each other in creating some new and innovative approaches, how to actually create libraries as a more community-based spaces.
Can you provide some examples of Erasmus Plus projects that have benefited libraries?
Yes, of course. So there was a lot of projects connected, for example, with digital literacy. So libraries were together creating like trainings as well on how to use digital different tools in order to actually provide new innovative approaches for young people as well as for adults in the libraries and how this can be used. Then as well, for example, there is a Slovenian example of escape room. So Knjižnica in Postojna, the library of Postojna, has created an escape room in the library. So with different hints, you are actually able to discover some of the interesting things, or like, let's say, interesting tips from a very well-known literate that was born in Postojna. So it can be really used in variety of perspectives and in a really innovative approaches as well, how to bring libraries closer to people.
It sounds very interesting, but tell me, Maja, what is the initial step for libraries without any existing connection to the Erasmus Plus program?
Yeah, next to the technical, so creating their own participation identification code, as well as known as it's like PIC code. I would always say that like first go and have a look on the Erasmus Plus portal, where there is a lot of good practices where libraries were included. And then of course like look around and like look for some good practices and like maybe first go for a study visit and just like see what is happening in libraries across Europe, and then start from there on to build the partnerships and create something new together.
So how does Erasmus Plus contribute to the development of international cultural cooperation within the libraries?
I would say that there is a lot of possibilities how to create some innovative approaches. So, for example, that like two libraries who have in common maybe like the interest for like, let's say, active citizenship, maybe inclusion or some other aspects, to really like come together and then start to create from there like some logical framework for a project which could actually like really bring first, because like there is an intercultural aspect of cooperation. Second, because like we can really like use these European funds in order to create something together that enriches like as well as local communities, and then on the other hand as well the international area that we are working in.
What funding opportunities does Erasmus Plus offer for library projects?
So as I said, like first of all, like in the key action 1, the mobility of individuals, you can always get grant, like for example, to travel to another country, to maybe job shadow a librarian in another space. So this would be the most, let's say, basic project, and then you can go further on like with some trainings maybe. So if there is a library who is using some interesting methodology in different country, you can go there, you can spend a week together, and they, for example, transfer you the practice of how they are doing it. And then these are, let's say, projects which are varying from like 5,000 euros up to 30, let's say. And then in the second opportunity, so when we are talking about cooperational partnerships, you have small-scale partnerships where the lump sums are 30,000 euros and 60,000 euros, but then we have as well big partnerships where you can get everything from like 125,000 euros to 150,000 euros or 400,000 euros, where of course like also these scales of the projects are connected with what you are actually doing. When we are talking about the projects which have, for example, 400,000 euros, there is like a way or like a tendency that we would create as well a bit more like, let's say, systemic change in European Union. Like, is it like maybe changing the legislation? Is it lobbying for something that like libraries in European Union need? Whether with 120 and 250 you can just like do some new innovative approaches how to actually like reach maybe more people, how to build the capacities for more like digital literacy, how to encourage more readers through different innovative approaches as well, how to include young people to spend more time in libraries as well, maybe with some gamification or some other approaches. So there is really a variety of possibilities, and I always like to say that like Erasmus Plus is really like opening the doors for everybody if you just know how to structure the project.
It sounds really that there are a lot of possibilities, but in what ways can libraries collaborate with international partners through Erasmus+?
Yeah, so as I maybe already mentioned, but like study visit would also always be like one of the basic programs. There can be job shadowings between different librarians around Europe. Then as well, there would be a possibility to create like some new curriculums, maybe for trainings, like leadership trainings, or maybe just like how to handle different minority groups that are as well joining the libraries. It's like really, the possibilities are really open. And I would say that like think about also like one of the opportunities that libraries can use is as well so-called partner building activity, where partners can come together and think about like what are their needs, so that they can assess together like what are the needs of the libraries, and then on the basis of this build their projects.
Are there any specific focus areas or themes within Erasmus Plus that are relevant for libraries?
I would say yes. First of all, like the 4 pillars of Erasmus Plus, which are now for the period of 2021 up to 2027. So inclusion, climate, digital, and active citizenship are all well intertwined with what libraries are doing in general. So just like also maybe combining all of this together and like thinking about how the library really like is a community space where people can gather, where they can do different activities. This all, I think, really connects very well in what libraries are doing, and that's why Erasmus Plus is really opening a lot of space actually to create some interesting new projects.
And how can Erasmus Plus support professional development and exchange of best practices for library professionals?
For sure, with like going out and like see what is happening on the European level. because there we have a lot of good practice examples, such as like Aarhus Library, for example. We have some Finnish Oodi libraries as well, something to see, which is a bit maybe different concept from what we are used to in like other European countries when we say library, how we see these spaces. But libraries have actually become like really innovative, very experimental places where you can do a variety of things, try things out as well. For example, Brussels Library, Mund, is very interesting from the perspective that you can even have like maker spaces there, so young people can try out like Lego robotics and stuff like that. They can create some music, some other interesting things. So it's really not just about like lending or like renting the books, but it's much more than that. It's a community space that is offering first a space for young and like adult people to also exchange maybe some views, ideas. And that this is where Erasmus Plus comes in, I would say, to really like open all of these spaces that like librarians can see different practices around Europe, learn from them, and then also bringing them back to their local communities and offer some more interesting approaches in their libraries.
Thank you for all these explanations. My last question would be, what are the benefits and impacts of participating in Erasmus Plus for libraries and their communities? What would you say?
Spreading horizons for sure, stepping out of your comfort zone as well. Because sometimes, everything we need is like to go somewhere and to become a bit inspired, and we see that also like with relatively little cost we can create a lot of difference. And I would say like to whoever I spoke, and also like I am also perfect example myself, being involved in European programs is bringing you friends all around Europe, that for sure. But then also like I think it can really build your professional competences. It can build your competences in the fields that you have never imagined. And also like bringing some fresh air maybe into the everyday life where we are, of course, like always busy, occupied with so many things, but then going somewhere, getting inspired, it might bring as well like some fresh energy to create some interesting, innovative things.
Maya, thank you very much for all your thoughts and good luck with your future projects.
Thank you.
Creative Europe is the European Commission's flagship program dedicated to supporting the culture and audiovisual sectors with the objectives to safeguard, develop and promote European cultural and linguistic diversity and heritage, and increase the competitiveness and economic potential of the cultural and creative sectors. It provides funding and opportunities for artists, cultural professionals, and organizations to collaborate, create, and promote cultural and artistic works across Europe and beyond. Through Creative Europe, individuals and organizations can access grants, participate in cultural projects, and benefit from networking and capacity building initiatives. By encouraging cross-border cooperation, Creative Europe promotes the exchange of ideas, artistic expression, and cultural dialogue. Some ways which Creative Europe has already supported libraries was by providing funding for digitalization and dissemination of literary works, promoting digital literature, supporting gender-positive literature for kids and teenagers, developing bibliotherapy and new ways to foster social inclusion through culture. Creative Europe offers many opportunities for libraries. Reading promotion, circulation of literary works in media literacy activities can be supported through the program. So let's start with the first question. What is Creative Europe and what are its main objectives in supporting the cultural and creative sectors?
Creative Europe is the European Commission flagship program to support the cultural and audiovisual sectors. Creative Europe invests in actions that reinforce cultural diversity and respond to the needs and challenges of the cultural and creative sectors. The program period is from 2021 to 2027 and has a budget of 2.44 billion euros. and will continue to contribute to the recovery of these sectors, reinforcing their efforts to become more inclusive, more digital, and environmentally more sustainable. The main objectives of the program are to safeguard, to develop and promote European cultural and linguistic diversity and heritage, as well as increase the competitiveness and economic potential of the cultural and creative sectors. Creative Europe is divided to three strands. Culture strand, where there is an opportunity for libraries, includes initiatives promoting and enhancing artistic and cultural cooperation at European level. The second one is media strand, includes actions encouraging the competitiveness, innovation, and sustainability of the European audiovisual sector. And the third strand is cross-sectoral, that includes initiatives promoting innovative actions and collaborations across the audiovisual and cultural sectors. Nevertheless, libraries should look for opportunities in cultural strand.
How can libraries specifically benefit from the Creative Europe program, and what opportunities does it offer?
Creative Europe enables libraries to co-create and collaborate across borders, reaching wider audiences and addressing various topics such as reading literacy, digitalization, and greening. It co-funds international development, creation, co-production, preservation, and dissemination of cultural, artistic, and creative expressions.
Can you provide examples of successful projects or initiatives within Creative Europe that have involved libraries?
While there are many successful projects, unfortunately, we don't have time to go through all of them. But I would like to highlight some projects. One of them is Open, eBooks on Demand. The project consortium is led by University of Innsbruck and consists of 15 project partners representing 11 European countries, ranging from Portugal, Slovenia, up to Sweden. The project has three main objectives: to digitize and make available literally works from 20th and 21st century, otherwise digitally hidden to a wide European community, and to stimulate interest in improved access to this 20th and 21st century cultural heritage. The second objective is to improve access to 20th and 21st century textual works for blind and visually impaired users and for younger audiences. And the third objective is to reinforce the capacity of library staff and of cultural heritage institutions to operate regionally, nationally, transnationally, and internationally with regard to dealing adequately with right clearance questions. I can also mention another project which is still ongoing. It's called European Libraries of Emotions. It has two main objectives, and the first one is that through this program, the public libraries acquired new digital skills and a knowledge of cognitive sciences applied to the cultural sector. They invented a new way to foster social inclusion through culture. And the second objective is that they will create a network of pioneering public libraries that want to explore new ways to promote reading in the EU. There is another project I would like to highlight, which already ended. It's called Echoes of Reality, but it's another great example of collaboration between local libraries and a cultural association. So Cultural Association Police Dubrova has translated 7 superior European works from 5 European languages into Slovenian language, sticking to high publishing standards. And for translations, they received the support from Creative Europe program. After they connected with 2 libraries, one in capital city here in Ljubljana and one in suburban city. And they held book clubs there, where these translated books were read and discussed. The project has proven to be really sustainable for Cultural Association Police Dubrova, and the Police Dubrova still organizes seminars for book club organizers. But city's library, Prežihov Vrnci in Ljubljana, is still organizes book clubs. So this is another great example how you can make project very sustainable. But if you're interested to read more about the projects and other projects, I invite you to visit our CET Slovenia website. We have a huge project database, and you can also visit Creative Europe project results page.
How does Creative Europe foster international collaboration and partnership for libraries?
By leveraging the available funding, networks, platforms, and training opportunities, libraries can contribute to the European cultural landscape and benefit from cross-border cooperation with their counterparts across Europe. By taking part in the Creative Europe, libraries have an opportunity to develop skills and exchange knowledge. They can partner with organizations like museums, like archives, publishing houses, university, or cultural centers to develop initiatives that enhance cooperation between cultural and creative sectors across borders. They can exchange practices and resources with international partners, and by cooperating in the program, libraries may develop new audiences and increase their invisibility locally, nationally, and internationally.
What funding options are available through Creative Europe for libraries to develop cultural and creative projects?
Creative Europe offers the most opportunities in calls for European cooperation projects, providing support to bring together organizations from different countries to carry out a broad spectrum of activities and initiatives. European cooperation projects can last up to 48 months and require the participation of at least 3 organizations from at least 3 different countries that are members of the Creative Europe program. European Union support varies depending on the size of the project, the number of partners, and it ranges from 200,000 up to 2 million grant amount per project, depending on the project size. The funding rate that varies according to the project size. The funding rate also varies according to the project size, and it ranges from 80% to 60%.
Are there any specific focus areas or teams within Creative Europe that libraries can align their projects with?
Libraries should follow their mission and take into account the objectives and priorities of the call and the Creative Europe program when preparing their project proposals. The European dimension is crucial, whereby the applicant and its partner go beyond local, national, and regional contexts within their activities cooperation, a more equal position of the sector, region, and country. At the same time, Creative Europe addresses cross-cutting issues such as inclusion, including gender equality, and the Green Deal that should be considered in the project proposal as well.
How does Creative Europe support capacity building and professional development for library professionals?
Creative Europe also supports projects that include capacity building and training activities and other skill development activities such as mentoring, peer learning, networking, etc. It is important that libraries with their project proposal follow core goals and priorities and think of project activities and partnerships also with publishers to benefit the book sector.
Can you shortly explain the processes for libraries to apply for funding through Creative Europe and the key criteria for project selection?
Well, the best tip is to find help on time, contact Creative Europe desk in your country, and to read carefully the call for proposal. So, for example, who is eligible, what is the call timeline, what are the call goals and priorities. Then check whether your library needs to register, see if you have PIC code and all other necessary documents. Check if you have minimum required number of partners from different Creative Europe countries, and know that the European dimension is crucial and that within the application, you and your partners will have to demonstrate experience and competence in the field you're applying for funds. The evaluators will namely evaluate quality and relevance of project activities, promotion and dissemination of activities and results, quality of partnership, and project impact and sustainability.
What are the long-term benefits and impacts for libraries that engage with Creative Europe in terms of community engagement, innovation, and cultural exchange? So why would you recommend libraries to take part in Creative Europe program?
Overall, engaging with Creative Europe offers libraries to enhance visibility locally, nationally, and internationally, develop new skills, exchange knowledge, practices, resources with international partners, and develop new audiences. And the just mentioned benefits are also the main reason why we would warmly recommend the libraries to take part in Creative Europe program. Start as a partner organization in a small cooperation project, and keep in mind it takes a lot of time, energy, and adjustment working in the international environment with variety of cultural differences among partners. But we know you can do it, and we wish you good luck.
The Citizens, Equality, Rights and Values SURF program encompasses 4 key strands: protecting and promoting union values, advancing equality, rights and gender equality, fostering citizens' engagement and participation, and combating violence, including gender-based violence. The program supports public and private organizations and promoting rights and democratic dialogue, empowering women, protecting children and persons with disabilities, fighting discrimination and raising awareness of European history. Libraries have the opportunity to actively engage in the SURF program by developing strategies to combat discrimination, fostering intergenerational cooperation, and serving as platforms for meaningful dialogue. As inclusive spaces, libraries can play a crucial role in promoting equality and social harmony. The SURF program, being comprehensive in its scope, provides libraries with ample possibilities to tailor the approaches in achieving its goals. Through their participation, libraries can contribute to the advancement of inclusive societies and the protection of fundamental rights. Hello, Nina. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Let's start with the first question about the SURF program. You've been working on it for quite a long time. Can you share some of the basis of the SURF program in your words, of course?
So what is SURF? SURF is a new program and is the biggest program that the European Union ever had to protect fundamental values and human rights. It's €1.5 billion for these 2 very important topics. But it's not completely new, and it's built on the good practices of 2 programs we had in the previous financial perspective. So probably everyone knows the Europe for Citizens and the Equality, Rights and Citizenship program. And those 2 programs were merged together, and a new, very important topic was added, and this is how SURF came to life. Why we have SURF is a very important question, because SURF is answering to some challenges our society has at the moment. We are talking about discrimination. Unfortunately, a lot of inequalities are still alive, and in some cases we can see also the increasement of disadvantages of different people. We are still talking about violence, and more about violence against women and children, as we saw not long ago also in Beograd. We are still talking about fundamental rights and values questioned. Do we need fundamental freedoms? Yes, we do. This is what SURF thinks and what SURF promotes. And the aim of this new program is to create inclusive democratic societies that are based on the rule of law, which are also our fundamental values of the European Union.
As we heard, the program has 4 thematic strands. Can you tell us more about the topic SURF covers?
So yes, as we heard in the animation, SURF has 4 thematic strands. The first one, the value, it's the new strand. And what is maybe also interesting to say about SURF is based on these new strands, the envelope proposed for the program was increased by almost 900 million euros for SURF during the negotiation of the new budget. So the new strand, the value strand, is empowering civil society organizations. The idea is to build very strong civil society environment that will then protect and promote the rights. It also protect and promote the rights we saw and read about in the Charter and the fundamental freedoms. And everything here, it's an experiment, because we have intermediate bodies, so big organization in national countries, or also partners from different countries that are empowering smaller organizations, then give smaller calls that are published. So very small projects, so that also very, very small organizations working in the field are able to apply, because sometimes small organizations are not capable to apply to these big programs, but also a very small library that, for example, is doing things for the first time can have something out of serve also for this value call. We heard that we have the equality, gender equality and rights strand. Here we talk about preventing all kinds of discrimination. We are talking and emphasizes the rights of children, the right of people with disabilities. We are talking also about the data protection. In the citizens' engagement and participation strand, we talk about everything we talked about in the Europe for Citizens. This is Europe for Citizens in its whole, put as a strand in STIRF. So we have engagement of people creating a democratic dialogue. We have exchanges between cities, and we have remembrance. So we talk about how events from the past developed or did an impact of the society we're living in. And the last strand, a very important one, is the Daphne. And here it's all about combating violence, violence against women, violence against children. And a very, very important thing is also that we want to create a safe environment for the victims. So STIRF is also working with organizations that create a safe environment and can protect victims of violence.
If we focus on libraries for a moment, how can libraries leverage the STIRF program to promote values and rights?
I think libraries can have a very big impact and a very crucial role in STIRF. When we're talking about STIRF, we talk about inclusive environments, and libraries are inclusive environments. We see very different people going to read books, to have books, and why not translate this in an environment where people can exchange ideas, can start this democratic dialogue, can give their opinions. Libraries can be fantastic multipliers. So when we have some very good practices, good stories can be shared in libraries. So but maybe also people who would not come to an event, when they're coming to a library, they learn about new things that are going on, and they maybe have this spark, I want to be part of it. And this is how we can engage more and more people to be active in the development of this society. What can libraries also do is talk about history. Libraries are a museum in a way. So they can use all this knowledge, have the books from the past, to develop some events, how to present the past to people in a very interactive, a new way. So, and also when we talk about children, we have libraries for children. This is a call, a very expecting call that is coming that will put children in the center, and libraries can really have a very important role in STIRF and in creating this democratic society, inclusive society we would like all to live in.
So there are many options, many possibilities. How can libraries collaborate with civil society organizations and other stakeholders as encouraged by the STIRF program to enhance the impact and reach of their initiatives?
STIRF really likes to combine different realities. So libraries can work together with NGOs, with civil society organizations, with public body, but also with enterprises, because STIRF is also open for profit private organizations when it comes to the topics we are talking about. For example, we have a priority dealing with equality in the workspace. And this is where library can start collaboration with some realities that maybe not so close to it, to its reality, but the things that at the first don't match have really good impact at the end. So I would say that they just have to open their minds to find organizations from different fields, different kind of organizing type, and just start to work and serve as a platform to do it.
Are there any specific guidelines or recommendations for libraries to ensure successful applications for SURF funding when seeking to implement projects related to the program's pillars?
Unfortunately not. We don't have a manual just as some other funds, but what we have are some guidelines that are common for European funds or European initiatives. But what we have here is a very strong network of national contact points. So we are more than 20 at the moment working across Europe, and we are here to help libraries and also other applicants to understand better SURF, to maybe understand what are the challenges, how to develop a project to be appealing for SURF. So I would really encourage them to get in touch with the national contact point in their country. And as we are just 20 and we have 27 member states, of course there are not yet, unfortunately, national contact points in all countries. But if you don't have a national contact point, you are very welcome to reach to any one of us. You can write to the Slovenian contact point, to the German, depends if you have some language preferences. We are here to help all applicants from all over Europe to invest their time and to be successful in the SURF program.
Can we be a little more specific? How concretely can a national contact point help libraries?
We have different programs. Of course, every national contact point has its own working program. But we, altogether, what we do, we promote SURF, of course. SURF is a new program, and we need to talk about it so that as many organizations hear about it, hear about the opportunities. We have webinars about priorities. We promote calls. We have webinars, specific webinars for calls, so that any applicant is able to hear about the call, the specifics, what is eligible, what is not eligible. And what we do is we create this international environment. Sometimes we hear that it's difficult to find a partner in a different countries, so we have international events, sometimes dedicated to a call, sometimes we just have a debate about specific call, or a topic, so everyone is welcome to come. If the library is interested, we can create a room, specific room for their ideas, so that they get in touch with different realities and they can find partners. We really work hard on this creation of this international server environment, because we believe that merging different realities, as I already said, can create some impact for the whole Europe.
Yeah, and let's finish with some advice. If there is a library which is stepping in the SURF program, what would your advice be?
It's the same advice for no matter it's SURF or it's Erasmus Plus or even cohesion policy. The first thing is read the call. Read the call document. Be sure that you understand the priorities. If you don't understand the priorities, get in touch or with the national contact point or with DigiJust or EASA. They're there to help you. We are here to help you. So read the call, read the grant agreement. Sometimes a lot of information are hidden in the grant agreement already when we're talking about eligible costs and so on. Don't be afraid. Take the opportunity, and don't be afraid to get in touch with the national contact point. Be creative, get in touch with us. We are here to help you, and I'm pretty sure that libraries will find their way in SURF, and they will be one of those beneficiaries, can really make a difference at the end.
Thank you, Nena, for all your thoughts and advice about this very interesting program, SURF. Now let's talk about cohesion policy. EU cohesion policy strengthens economic, social and territorial cohesion in the European Union, addressing imbalances between countries and regions. It aligns with the Union's political priorities, particularly the green and digital transition. The policy for 2021 to 2027 focuses on 5 objectives: a competitive and smarter Europe, a greener and low-carbon economy, a more connected Europe, a more social and inclusive Europe, a sustainable and integrated development of all territories. Libraries can utilize the European Structural and Investment Funds 2021 to 2027, especially the European Regional Development Fund and the European Social Fund Plus, to secure additional funding for their activities and explore new directions beyond regular budgets. By aligning with the objectives of a smarter, greener, more connected, more social and citizen-focused Europe, libraries can access these funds to support groundbreaking developments and consolidate trends observed during the COVID-19 crisis. Operating at local, national and European levels, library policymakers should consider the broader framework of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and link ESIF objectives with library best practices for implementing sustainable development goals. Nena, welcome again in our studio. Now let's talk about European cohesion policy. What is it about the European cohesion policy that we should know?
So maybe for the beginning, the difference, as we were talking about SERV before, SERV is a centralized European program, meaning that everything is going from Brussels to the national states. Cohesion policy is decentralized. It means that the specific objects or priorities are developed in the country or in a specific region. And it's also a bit more complicated because it has 2 different approaches. The approach 1, which is a national or regional approach, and approach B, which is the international approach. So it's in its basics is the biggest investment policy European Union has, and wants to, as already said, make sure that the regions are not left behind, so that the regions that are less developed are getting more money to get on the way, and all regions that are already developed again. But the idea is to create more synergies. It's built on solidarity, so who is more developed gives the money to the less developed, that the less developed are able to develop, and then the whole European Union together will develop in future steps to the goals we have.
So in terms that what you just said, what can happen on local on one hand and on the international level on the other hand?
Yeah, so the whole, what we call it, the goal 1 is the local or the regional. The national level, it means that all the priorities and the goals are managed in this regional environment. As on the international, we have the second goal, what we call the European territorial cooperation. Then we have 3 different possibilities of interaction between countries. The first one is the cross-border cooperation. For example, we have in Slovenia 4 borders and 4 cross-borders. Programs means that the neighboring countries are working together to deal with same challenges. Sometimes cross-border territories have different challenges than the center of a country, or a country that is on the other side with a neighbor with a different country. So these specific programs give opportunity to tackle and challenges that are regional, cross-border, bilingual, for example, or we have some cultural differences. We have possibilities to create cross-border educational programs. The second one is transnational. It combines some countries that are coming from the same region, same geographical region, I always said, because we have the programs for the Alps, for the Mediterranean, for Danube, for Central Europe, for the Baltic states. So also this country together has some specific challenges that the country that it's not in the Alps doesn't have regarding or climate or society. So these programs makes possible to these countries to work together to address these challenges. And the third one are interregional. These are covering the whole Europe and more, and are the roof, for example, and all countries can contribute, and they are dealing with best practices for transfer of knowledge from one part of Europe to another. So it's maybe a bit complicated, but it's very interesting as it gives the opportunity to tackle some really specific challenges.
If we talk about libraries for a bit, how can libraries collaborate with their local institutions and organizations to create synergies and work towards shared goals of European cohesion?
Libraries can get involved in different fields. It's not just about society or open space. It's also about energy efficiency. They can get some funds from the European Development Funds to, I don't know, have new windows that are more energy efficient, or to rebuild the building, or to do some work for to be more accessible for disabled people. So there are a lot of things that libraries can use. Here it's very important that each library get in touch with the national managing authority or the regional managing authority to see what kind of funds are available for the region. As for the transnational programs or the territorial cooperation, libraries have a lot of possibilities. Again, like in SERV, they can collaborate to create inclusive environments. They can collaborate with research and education institutions to build literacy, to build new educational programs. We had here in this territory in Koper libraries in the past, including the European cross-border programs, and what they did, they digitalized some very, very old books from the Venetian times to make sure that they will be available and they can be reached by people not endangering the original. So this is all possible in the European cohesion policy, which has really a lot of potentials for libraries.
So what role can libraries play in disseminating information about European cohesion policies and initiatives, ensuring that community members are informed and involved?
Unfortunately, what we see on the field is, even though the cohesion policy is enormous and a lot of, more than, just in Slovenia, more than 1,000 projects were done with the cohesion policy, it's not yet known. So a big effort on the European and national levels is put in the informing people, so that cohesion policy money is coming from the budget of the European Union. And the budget is coming from taxpayers. So it's important for the communities to know how cohesion policy influences them. And libraries can be magnificent multiplier here, and just, creating events when we talk about cohesion, when we talk about projects that are happening next door, but as we are not involved with them, we don't know about them. They can, as just for SERV, be the point when people find information without knowing it. You go to borrow a book, but at the same time, you learn about the project that it's going on in your environment and is positively impacting on your life. And this is all libraries can do. As we heard a lot of times, libraries, if they open the door and they go from borrowing a book to other activities, can really shape the local environment and influence life of people.
Nena, my last question would be, how can libraries leverage their resources, such as multilingual collections and intercultural events, to promote inclusivity and the sense of belonging among diverse European possibilities?
I said it already a couple of times, because I would really like libraries to open their minds and to see all the possibilities. Not just inclusivity and environment, but when we're talking about cohesion policy, also new places, energy efficiency, possibilities to build from renewable materials. Maybe start a dialogue about circular economy, which is also very important. These are all the possibilities that are in cohesion policy and that libraries can contribute in with this diverse knowledge each library has, diverse books there are there. So it's also about it's always about opening the mind, especially when we talk about European funded projects. Of course, you have some priorities you need to think about. But the first step is to step out with about your comfort zone and see all the different possibilities and start thinking about your institution, your library, more than just a library, but like something, a space, a social impact organization. Organization can also do something for the climate, something for the greener future, for, of course, social cohesion. So it's all about libraries. I would say that, again, don't be afraid. There are a lot of people in your country and in European Union offices that will support you in your journey. And it's always about doing the first step and just doing it.
Nena, thank you very much for all your thoughts and all the explanation about cohesion policy and SURF program, and all the best with your future projects.
Thank you very much.
We will now hear some inspiring examples of successful EU-funded projects showcasing best practices and innovative approaches. Massimo Capano has been serving as the head of the European Projects, Standards and Fundraising Department at the municipality of Cinisello Balsamo since 2001. With a focus on youth, education, culture and urban regeneration, he has played a pivotal role in planning and implementing innovative programs that drive innovation and development within the community. Hello, Mr. Capano. How are you?
I'm fine. Sorry, but sorry if I'm connecting in the car, but I'm traveling to Romagna because I have to help some friends for the last tragic period, unfortunately.
Okay, let's start with the first question. So, Mr. Capano, for how long have you been working in the municipality of Cinisello Balsamo, and what role do you hold there?
Okay, I'm starting to work for the municipality of Cinisello Balsamo in 2002. And previously I was the head of youth policy department. Because in the city there was not a program for youth, and in the last years I started to manage the European Project Office because we understood that was the right way to work in the future. Because as you can see later. We are working a lot with the young people to increase the competencies, but I will explain later.
Yes, that would be perfect. You mentioned EU projects. Could you describe the recent focus of your work in terms of EU projects? What kind of programs are you applying for? How do you involve the libraries? Which areas have you primarily focused on?
Okay, it's not so simple because I can say that we are mainly focused on two programs. The first one is Erasmus Plus, of course, and the other one is SERV, which is a program that connects several programs in the past, mainly focused on the citizenship. And another one is IPA program, which permit us to work with the Balkans country and also with Turkey. And the main focus for us are the soft skills because we are focused on young citizens, and for us the most important thing in this moment is to work to increase the competencies of young people, following the 8 key competence of lifelong learning. And so this is the main focus for us in this moment.
So in what ways have you contributed through the libraries to innovation and development in the fields of youth, education, culture, and urban regeneration in Cinisello Balsamo?
Oh, okay, this is an interesting question because, okay, it's not simple to explain because sometimes also my colleagues do not understand this. Allora, the contribution we have done, we gave to the libraries is to change the focus, not to stay only focus on the reading or on the books, but think that your library is a sort of hub of the culture and the knowledge for your citizens. So in this way, if you think after the school, what the people can do in your city, no? In your library, they can find a place where they can increase or improve or grow up the knowledge about several things, several themes. So my contribution has been to move the library not only focus on the books, the reading and so on, but also to the citizen and the knowledge and other fields.
Very interesting. I'm also interested in what strategies or approaches do you employ when seeking funding for projects in your department?
Okay. Okay. First of all, we are focused on the needs of your city. What does mean the needs? You have to think that we are a city very close to Milan. So our problem is that the young people leave our city because, of course, Milan is more appealing for the young people. So our main issues is to face the young people that leave the city, and so we have not enough youth resources for our city. So that's why we implemented a lot of the activity in the libraries, so to be more appealing and attractive also for young people.
And can you?
This is one of the. Yes, sorry.
No, please finish your answer.
No, this is just the problem for us, and also to choose the right project that have a real impact in our city. So what does mean? It means that how can we keep the young people in our city?
Have you been successful so far?
Oh, I can say yes. Yes, because if you will come in our city, you will see our cultural center, which is, of course, first a library, and then we started with a lot of programs, also on coding, also on theater, cinema, and so on. And of course, there are a lot of courses for young people. and I can say that now we are one of the most important library in the suburban of Milan.
Congratulations. Can you provide some examples of successful European projects that have you been involved in?
Okay. I can say that one of the most important experimentation we had is to try to open co-working spaces or desk for the young people in our library, and we're working with Erasmus Plus, trying to demonstrate that that the co-working space can be a good way to help the young people then trying to open their own activities, or maybe also to improve their competencies in the job market, for the job market. And so I can send you the link. Probably you already have it, because we, as project results, we produced 2 ebooks that talk about this experience. One of the countries involved was also Croatia, and so has been a really challenging project. But now we are trying to understand if it's work in this way, because we opened some spaces in a library just for the workers, young workers, of course. But we are thinking about how to proceed with the project.
So you mentioned
another one. Sorry.
Please finish. Yeah.
Okay. Another one is EU Image. EU Image, which was a project on the values, the heritage values of the European Union, which was funded by the Europe for Citizens program. And we worked a lot with the Museum of Contemporary Photography in our city and the library that permit us to open an exhibition 1 year ago, and we involved a lot of young people. But the most important thing that we impact in the idea of library, not only as of course a place where you can find a book, but also a place where you can talk about several themes, like the prejudice, for example.
Thank you for the answer. I'm also interested in how do you collaborate with other departments or organizations to implement the programs of innovation and development in Cinisello Balsamo?
Okay. I try to be synthetic because it's not too simple. But okay, first of all, I try to in beginning, when I see there is a call, I try to talk with my colleagues in the other departments, and also I try to involve the third sector, of course, and our cultural institution. But the problem, as you probably know, sometimes in the European project, you can't involve several partners from the same country. So our strategy is that we involve them in the project idea, and then we try to cooperate with them when we have to deliver the activity in the city. And so in this way, we can also fund them, and we can really involve several stakeholders in the city. And this is very important because, Also because sometimes it's not possible to involve them since the beginning with a project idea. And if you have a good connection with them, you can work also after the project has been approved. And this is also a good way to work with our department and our institution in the territory.
And in this regard, what are some challenges or obstacles you have encountered while planning and implementing these programs?
Okay. So several, honestly, but the main one is that, of course, the language is a challenge, because not all of my colleagues speak in English, for example. As you can see, my English is not perfect, so can you imagine if someone do not speak English, it's very difficult to approach to European project, and the knowledge of the English language is really important to have confrontation. And of course, the other challenge and the other problem, I can say problem, is that as public employees, we are not so used to work as project manager, because normally we deliver services which are the same services every year and every day. So it's very difficult to explain to my colleagues that a project is a project with a time. You have to reach a goal, no? In a short way, in a short time. And of course, it's not a regular work in your office, but it's something extraordinary. So, of course, you have to agree with it.
So many challenges you're facing.
Yeah.
But how do you evaluate the impact and effectiveness of the programs you've been working on and you have developed?
Okay. Allora, for me, the most important thing is connecting to the cultural impact. Because I have to explain a lot of things, but I can synthesize in this way. I'm really worried to work on the human resources, because the young people and also the other citizens, of course, I'm thinking about the educators, the youth workers, the teachers, and so on, are resources for our city. So we have to take care of them, and we have to work with them to increase and improve their competencies, because the impact they have in the city is very high if they are involved, and their skills are I don't know, I can say bigger or more effective. Okay, this is my opinion, of course. Is done. The most important thing is that the project have to be connected with the needs and the situation of our city.
Of the local community,
So,
you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, yes, it's local community, of course.
If we have a short look in the future, looking ahead, what are some future goals or projects you would like to implement?
Okay. From the cultural point of view, my personal opinion is that we have to work a lot on the critical sense of young people, because in this moment they are bombarded of information and other suggestions or input, and sometimes we notice that they have not instruments to approach to this huge number of information. And sometimes they use the information as valid information, but they don't know if from where the information comes from and what's the effect on the information and the public opinion of the young people, of the citizens. So I think the next project will be focused on these issues, and the most important thing is that we would like to improve our not only competence but our strategies connected with the digital tools, because of focus, you know, as you probably know, that the young people are really attracted, and I can say also prisoner of digital tools. My personal idea is that we have to increase the activity using the games, using the tutorial for the games, the video on the social network, because they have a potential to help us to increase the critical sense of young people. The real problem is that we are not so expert, so we need the help from experts. And so I can say that thinking about a library, the digital tools are not a problem, but can be useful to go back to the reading for the young people. Okay.
And let's finish with a short advice. If there is a library which is stepping in the field of EU projects, what would your advice be?
Okay. Allora, I can read something I wrote in another speech I had during the conference in Milan, because I can say that to my colleagues that do not be focused too much on the reading, but think that a library is an important place for the citizens. Be open to the new trends and use European projects in different ways. For example, if you work in active citizenship, you can use this topic as an opportunity to reach people that normally do not go in a library. And I can say definitely that in all European projects, there is a connection with a library, for sure. You have just to be open and creative and find out the connection with the library. I'm sure you can find it. You can do it. Okay.
I totally agree with you, Mr. Capano, and thank you very much for all your thoughts, and good luck with all your future projects.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, everybody, and sorry for my presentation from the car, but it wasn't the car. Okay, va bene.
Thank you very much.
Say thank you to you. Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao. Ciao.
In conclusion, this webinar has provided valuable insights into the diverse funding opportunities available through the European Union to support libraries in their mission to serve communities, promote cultural diversity, and drive innovation. By exploring EU funds such as Erasmus+, Creative Europe, SERVE, and the EU Cohesion Policy, libraries can access financial support, engage in cross-border collaborations, and implement projects that contribute to European values and address local needs. Thank you for your attention.